All right, all right. All right, guys. So later on today, I will release a video that I recorded like in the wee hours of the morning for the full moon. I did do a card pull for each zodiac in that one. It is just that it's still processing. So look for that later on today. But today is the 15th. This is not a today's topic. It is a collective message, but obviously the 15th is kind of an awesome day because it is our full moon. It is the end of Mercury retrograde. So we'll just see if this collective message is also inspired by any of that. This is not zodiac specific, but we have two major arcana to begin. So starting with Aries energy coming off that Emperor, and we have the Fool. So we are doubling down on some really empowered Aries vibe right now. This is an Emperor is ready to take an action right now, or he's come to a conclusion. I look at the Fool as a leap of faith. I look at it as action, not just thought. So I'm going to say that it is possibly a new day for the Emperor, a new beginning. Justice is in the reverse. We're rocking 3 of 3 on the major arcana. Something needs to be set right. Him taking action could be the thing that sets things right, or he needs to take the action in order to set something right. What is this justice about? He wants to correct something. It needs to be corrected. There could be a Libra involved. 10 of Swords. In order to correct something, there could have been a very painful ending, possibly with the Divine Feminine. Is this somebody who's making a decision? Is this Emperor making a decision that he needs to make peace with someone that I believe he had a very excruciating ending with? He needs to bring things into balance. That Temperance, because this is all major, and then 1 10, and a 10 is a completion of a cycle, and everything else are these major life events. If we were to just look at the major life events, it's the Emperor is taking a leap to fix a problem and bring balance. That is what we have with these cards. It's very decisive. Ace of Swords. In his mind, he treated a feminine unfairly. I think he didn't tell her the actual truth, and I think she deserves the truth, and he knows that. Now, I don't think that he was probably an Emperor in the past if he wasn't giving truth. But there's definitely something here where it's like giving her the truth would actually bring her a sense of peace as well. And he knows that. So this, I'm going to say him, this masculine, even though of course it could still be a feminine, this could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, doesn't matter. He says she deserves to be given the truth because that's how you show respect to somebody. She deserves the truth. That's always been what's at stake here is a painful ending without any actual explanation. That's a disrespect to this amazing Queen of Wands, and he does respect her. Okay, so he wants to give answers at this point. He wants to give some kind of, make something right and give her this truth. What is your truth, Emperor? What is it that you need to convey to her? Once again, with the Fool card, this is him coming up out of the grave. This is him either, this is just now his new beginning. This is just now his new, like he's free. He's got his suitcase. He's just now out of something. He's just now got, oh my gosh, seriously? Okay, well, we'll take them. These cards all came out in a big flurry. I'm asking, what is the truth that you need to say? And it says, well, I have this, I have to take this leap of faith and I have to tell her the truth on things. We have a 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. This was an inability to grow something in his life, an inability to put energy into something for a very long time. We have the Temperance. We have the Sun sideways. We have the Justice card upright. Okay, so the truth that he needs to convey to her is that I think he tried to take some kind of a leap when he couldn't. That I think that was the truth. He tried to say that he could do something in the past that he couldn't do. It was not possible. He didn't have the money. He didn't have this is somebody who could have, he's behind bars here. I don't know if this emperor was actually in trouble once upon a time. Maybe he was in trouble with the law. Maybe he was, on a, house arrest, or only on a work release, or, something like that. But it once upon a time, he wasn't upfront about this, that he was unable to move forward. He couldn't be making future plans, but he tried to act like he could. This, and I bring up like the judicial system because we have justice upright. Even though I think, the truth here is that I think meeting her gave him a great sense of, he had a great sense of peace. He found something that he thought would really be wonderful, something that he's wanted. You notice that we have similar cards coming up, or identical cards coming up, right? We have the Fool card twice. We have the Justice card twice. We have the Temperance card twice. Those are pretty crazy to have the same cards 3 times doubling up out of only 2 decks and very, very few cards that have shuffled out. So I'm going to say that in the past, a lot of this was like the mirror image of how it should have gone, right? What he genuinely wanted was to have peace and harmony, but that wasn't really possible with the conditions that his life was in the past. And it was exceptionally unfair because that impacted the ability to actually have happiness. I think there was the potential where it's like, I knew we could be so happy together. I really wanted to have this happiness, but there was no way. I mean, I was stuck. I was trapped. I was, not done with my sentencing. I was still in trouble. And it wasn't fair that I didn't admit that. This feels like somebody who didn't admit the truth of it was they wanted something that they couldn't have actually made happen at that point in time. Let me just ask, why couldn't you have made it happen at that point in time? That Justice card. Page of Swords. They were being heavily watched by someone at some point in time. They were unable to see an 8 of Cups. They were being heavily watched, and they wanted to act like they could just make choices and go whatever direction they wanted to. But in fact, I don't know, there was some kind of monitoring. What is this about? Some kind of monitoring going on. We have a 6 of Cups. We have an Ace of Swords. We have a 3 of Swords. I don't know if there was, maybe this is as simple as there was some other connection at the point in time that, he was in maybe a long-term connection, but wanted to act like he was about to get out of it, and he was thinking about it. It's not a great look. If he wasn't open and honest about this, that he was already taken, that he was already in a connection, and that could have been the case. And yet, he was thinking about severing that connection, but this could have been somebody he had only recently reconnected to, and it like trying to have a second chance at something, and it wasn't working. And so he really wasn't in it to win it. And then he meets that Queen of Wands, and he's really seeing that the Queen of Wands could be somebody amazing. But now what does he do? Because he's just recently recommitted to some other connection, like giving a long-term connection a second chance is what he had just barely agreed to. And then he meets the Queen of Wands, and it's like, no, I want this instead. But he doesn't tell the Queen of Wands, like, I'm unavailable. I just recommitted myself to some other connection. It feels like, let me ask this. Why did you not tell the Queen of Wands this, Emperor? Why did you not tell her this? Queen of Cups. Because she offered me her heart. That's not a reason. Why did you not tell her the truth? The Emperor in the reverse. And that's it. I said before, I doubt he would have been an emperor in the past if he had withheld information from her and done something that he now needs to correct. Yeah, that's not emperor behavior. An emperor is straightforward. An emperor says what's true. An emperor doesn't try to take things that shouldn't be theirs. An emperor doesn't, in order to be called an emperor or an empress, you have to act like one. He was not. In fact, he was The worst kind of Emperor Empress vibe that we could see is when they go into the reverse, because then all those beautiful attributes they typically have become the shadow side. So instead of being straightforward and solid and kind and thoughtful when it comes to others and wanting to protect and wanting to lead and wanting to but through like earning respect, this character just wants what they want. They just want their own needs to be fulfilled no matter what the cost is. So I kind of think that the reason he didn't tell her this is because he wanted her to tell him that she loved him. She fell in love with him and he liked that. That was nice. That felt so good. This beautiful, amazing, sexy, incredibly gorgeous Queen of Wands is in love with him. That feels amazing. He's going to gobble that up. Doesn't matter to him at that point in time that he is going to be betraying her because he's in another connection, because he's not free, because there's absolutely no way that he's also going to tell her the truth, because he wants this and he wants her to keep loving him. So he's not going to tell the truth. Ooh, very selfish, very selfish. Why did you need her to love you? Ace of Wands, because I wanted her. At the time, did you know that what you were doing was really wrong to her? Oh yeah, Five of Pentacles. There was something so missing in his own life. Maybe he felt like, look, an Emperor in the reverse is somebody that doesn't have any personal power. So in many aspects of his own life, we already saw that he was somehow seemingly like held. I said, gosh, what is he like, on house arrest or something? This is somebody who's used to getting stepped on. This is somebody who's got a huge gaping, missing spot. He needed her. Well, what he needed to do was probably to find his own, courage and to course correct some things in his life. But instead, he was like, no, I need her to love me. It fulfills some hunger in me. And so feeling like I have a little bit, even if it's a glimpse of the happiness that I would like to have, I want that for myself. Was it wrong? Yeah, he knows it's wrong, but his need was bigger than him deciding that I'm going to be taking from her and leaving her out in the cold. Because I think he tried to argue in his head that I'm going to be giving, I really want her, right? So on one hand, I'm giving her all my passion. I only have eyes for her. I'm super passionate about her. I'm going to give her everything I've got, even though it really is a small percentage of what I should be giving her, because really I'm invested elsewhere. But it fulfills my needs and I'm not getting what I want out of life, and I need this fulfillment. It makes me finally feel like I have something, like I'm not just being stepped on. And I don't know, I feel like this person felt tread upon in their own lives, and somehow she represented like their one freeing choice that they could make. But there was never a time that they didn't know what they were doing, that they were taking what they wanted, knowing full well they were going to leave her high and dry. So why now? Why do you think that now you need to come in and course correct this, Emperor? Two of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, High Priestess. For them, at the end of the day, they are still saying she is the person that is like, tattooed on my very like bones, that this is the person that I was meant for. And I have to tell her those words, even though obviously I haven't done right by this connection, but she deserved the truth all this time. She deserved the respect all this time. And I have to tell her that I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference, but if at some point in time it was one of those situations where he's arguing that he really felt like she is the one, she is the connection for him in his lifetime, and maybe she felt the same way about him, and it's like I have to confirm to her that all that was true. I have to tell her that it was real, even though I didn't do any of the right things, even though I didn't do right by her. There was a Three of Swords, and he knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to betray this connection. Here's the thing, though. How are you going to make this right, Emperor? I mean, coming in and just saying this, how is that going to make things right? We have an Ace of Pentacles, and we have the Ten of Wands. In this storyline, he is intending on, even after all the crickets, all the silent time, a connection that has really died between them, he is hoping for a new beginning, or to at least say the words that should have been said a long time ago, as far as the truth of how he actually felt about her, the truth of how he didn't ever speak the honesty to her. It's something about it's late in the game to try to alleviate the things that have been wrong, but he thinks that this is the thing to do. I do think it's to try to lay down guilt over what he's done. Do we have a message actually just for the Queen of Wands? Do we have a message for her? Queen of Wands. The Nine of Swords and the Queen of Cups. In this case, if she has had a lot of stress over this, a lot of distress over this, to her credit, she has stayed loving and warm. Her natural state is to be fearless, open-hearted. Even when she's gone through something difficult, she is still an incredibly loving person. And to remember that about herself. This is not, no matter what, if she wants to hear from him or doesn't want to hear from him, she doesn't have to. But for her to maintain who she actually is, which is a Queen of Cups. A Queen of Cups is good at receiving, and like, I'll say she's good at compassion, but she still has boundaries. This says if this person is coming in with an apology, receive it as a Queen of Cups would, meaning fully receive it. That doesn't mean she has to do anything about it. It doesn't mean she has to say, okay, that's awesome. In fact, it kind of says for her to give herself the time to think about how she digests their words, how she feels about their words, how she, a Queen of Cups feels the emotions of things, allows herself to kind of evaluate things, receives the apology, but then does not have to react. She can just say, I don't know how I feel about this. It's a lot to digest. It says for her to give herself time and space. She doesn't have to come up with an answer. She's under no obligation. She may never answer them. She may never need to answer them, but to simply receive it so she can actually not be reactive, but to let it, like, at least, I don't know, there it says like wait 7 hours or 7 days to think about things for her so that she can decide how she actually feels, how she actually interprets what they are saying to her. All right, I'm going to leave that one there. Whatever she does, I hope it's always in her greatest and highest good. But this person, this Emperor, has actually genuinely loved her despite how many mistakes were made, is what that storyline said. I don't know. I'll leave that there. All right, take care. Thank you for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.